This is the TJ Hoisington Podcast. Unleash your greatness within.
Anybody seen this book before? Man's Search for Meaning? Did you read it?
This is my favorite book.
And I know why. It's beautiful. And look, I'll tell you, this is how beautiful it is. Try to hear it with the spirit in which I give it. This man is a hero. Of the top 20 books in the world, this is one of the top selling books. In World War II, he was a young graduate, became a doctor and a psychiatrist, living in Vienna. His family lived in Vienna. When they saw what the Nazis were doing on that territory, his parents went down to, this was not in the book, this part was not in the book, this is some later research. So I'll get to something that wasn't. His parents went down to the U.S. consulate to see if they could get visas. They were denied because of their age. Him and his sister, parents said, why don't you guys go down and see if you can get visas to get out of this country. We see what's happening. Victor went down to the U.S. consulate. He was awarded a visa. When he came home, he walked through the front door. He noticed a marble with the inscription on it from a blown-up synagogue. It said on the marble at the front of the door, his dad had brought it home. It said on it, "Honor thy father and thy mother, that thy days may be long upon the land." He walked through the door. He took his visa. He went upstairs to his bedroom. He opened his dresser drawer. He put his visa in, closed the drawer, and never used it. In time, he went to Auschwitz along with his sister, with his mom and dad. It was fortunate in hindsight that he went, because being a doctor, he was able to help his dad, who was dying in Auschwitz, and was there holding him when he took his last breath, and was able to give aid and comfort in those last few moments. His mom and his sister were murdered. Difficult time, as a lot of people would commit suicide in the concentration camps by doing one simple thing. If you've ever been to Dachau or Auschwitz, I've been there. There's about 50 feet of grass from the walk area and the fence. The rule was if you stepped on the grass and you walked toward the fence, you would be shot. When people became helpless and gave up on the pain that we can never know exactly what that was like, he said, I would notice some people would get on the grass and walk toward the fence, and that would be the end of them. And then he had his own wake-up moment. This part was in the book. He was taken to the chamber where they shave all the hair off every part of your body. He was the last man in that chamber, and they forgot about him for several hours. Every hair on his body was taken off against his will. He ended up not going to the gas chamber. Later, America would come in, would free those that survived. He would later tell the story that it was in that moment that he realized, you can take everything from me, but there's one thing you can never take from me. Is my thoughts and my attitude. No matter how difficult my situation may be, I always have the ability to separate from the pain, to make meaning out of the most hardened and difficult situations in life. What a lesson he was to millions of people before he died. He was speaking to a group. He has a hard accent, but a group of college students. And I want to show you a little bit of this video here, because this is the ultimate leadership principle.
They wish to make a lot of money. In Europe, every American student, even more every American adult, is regarded as someone who is just out to make a lot of money. Really, 16% of these students regarded their main goal and concern in life to make a lot of money. I'm quoting literally, make a lot of money. And you know what the top class, the top category, we say category, what do you say? Category was among, you excuse me, but I know I am speaking a marvelous accent without the slightest English. Now, you know what the top category was? 78% of these American youngsters were concerned, as they expressed it themselves, with finding a meaning and purpose in their lives. So this is a realistic view on man. And you know, you won't believe it, gray hair, my age, I started taking flying lessons recently. Do you know what my flying instructor told me? If you are starting here, wish to get here, say east, heading for this, and you have a crosswind, you will drift and you will land here. So you have to do what we pilots call crabbing, he told me, C-R-A-B, crabbing. You have to head for north of this airfield, and you have to fly that way, you see, as if you headed in this direction. If you are heading here above this airfield, then you will actually land here. But if you head for here, you are landing here. This holds also for man, I would say. If we take man as he really is, we make him worse. But if we overestimate him, it's premature, your applause, you will soon know why. If we seem to be idealists and are overrating man, and looking at him that high, here above, you know what happens? We promote him to what he really can be. So we have to be idealists in a way, because then we'll wind up as the real realists. And you know who has said this? If we take man as he is, we make him worse. But if we take man as he should be, we make him capable of becoming what he can be. This was not my flight instructor, this was not me, this was Goethe. He said this verbally. And now you will understand why I, in one of my writings, once said, this is the most apt maxim and motto for any psychotherapeutic activity. So if you don't recognize a young man's will to meaning, man's search for meaning, you make him worse, you make him dull, you make him frustrated, you still add and contribute to his frustration. While if you presuppose in this man, even in this so-called criminal or juvenile delinquent or drug abuse and so forth, there must be a what we call spark, a spark of search for meaning. Let's recognize this, let's presuppose it, and then you will elicit it from him, and you will make him become what he in principle is capable of becoming.
That is the principle of leadership. I said it early on in the first hour, 2 hours. We affirm as leaders, and I hope you're getting it from your leaders, worth and potential all the time. Worth and potential. Worth and potential.
Hey there, thanks for listening. I hope you enjoyed this podcast episode. If you did, could you do me a favor? It would mean the world to me if you could write a simple review or give me a star rating. I would really, and I mean really, appreciate it. Thank you in advance. Now go out there and unleash your greatness within.
GreatnessWithin.com